Have you ever stopped to think about what really happens when she realizes you're no longer interested? That sudden change when you stop being the guy who's always available, the guy who's always chasing her. It may seem like everything is going to fall apart, but in reality, this attitude triggers a series of psychological reactions in her. Will she chase after you? Will she try to regain your attention? Or does the disinterest mark the end of everything? Today, we're going to unravel exactly what happens in her mind when you flip the script and stop being so predictable. We'll explore how this distance can, in fact, increase the value she sees in you, and how this simple shift can completely change the dynamic of the relationship. If you've gone through this or are thinking about changing your approach, stick with me until the end, because what you'll learn here can transform how you see yourself and how she sees you. Oh, and before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share in the comments. Have you ever tried distancing yourself from someone who wasn't paying you much attention? What happened? Your story could inspire other men to better understand this dynamic. Section 1. The psychological shift, the effect of uncertainty. When you decide to stop chasing her, something fascinating happens in her mind. Initially, she may feel a slight discomfort. After all, she was used to having your attention, your constant interest. She knew exactly when you would respond, when you would compliment her, when you would try to please her. But now, that pattern has been broken. And human beings, by nature, don't like uncertainty. When you pull away, she is forced to ask herself, why did he change? What happened? Is he seeing someone else? This uncertainty triggers an emotional reaction. And the first one is fear. Fear that you've found someone more interesting, fear that she has lost control of the situation. Yes, because many relationships, even unconsciously, revolve around a sense of control. When she realizes she no longer has control over you, her interest automatically increases. This phenomenon is known as the scarcity effect. People tend to value more what they feel they might lose. When you were available all the time, she knew she could count on your attention. Now, with your withdrawal, she starts to realize she might have underestimated the value of your presence. This is a powerful psychological twist. She begins to see you in a different light, and what was once guaranteed now feels like an opportunity she might be losing. Now, think about it. How many times have you heard stories of men who, after distancing themselves, saw women's behavior change drastically? It's because the emotional dynamic shifts. And this isn't just a manipulation game, it's about redefining the balance of power in the relationship. You're not pulling away to play with her emotions, but to value yourself and what you offer. Putting yourself first and prioritizing your life is the surest way to make an impact on her mind. If you want access to a set of psychological strategies that will affect her mind and make her beg for your presence in her life, check out the link available in the description of my video. Section 2. The impact on her ego and the instinct of competition. Now that you've taken a step back, what happens to her ego? To understand this, we need to dive into the concept of the competition instinct that is inherent in all of us but manifests in unique ways in relationships. When you stop chasing her, her ego starts to feel challenged. If before she was sure you wanted her, now that's questionable. And guess what? No one likes to lose. For many women, the ego is fed by the attention they receive. Knowing you were interested validated her self-image. She felt desired, in control. When you cut off that source of validation, it's as if you remove a crucial pillar supporting her view of herself. Now, instead of feeling in control, she finds herself in a position where she needs to react, where she needs to do something to get back what she thought she would always have. And this is where the competition instinct comes in. Upon realizing you are more distant, less available, she starts imagining there might be other women competing for your attention. Even if there aren't any, just the idea that you're investing your time and energy elsewhere makes her switch to a competitive mode. And this isn't just about jealousy, it's about her wanting to regain the feeling of being the priority, of being the one in control of your attention. That's why, often after you distance yourself, you start to notice signs that she's trying to get your attention again. It could be an out-of-the-ordinary message, more frequent contact, or even a change in how she presents herself. All of this is the competition instinct at work. And here's the secret: by pulling away, you put yourself in a position where she has to fight for your attention. And at this point, you're no longer chasing, she is. But the most interesting part is that this doesn't happen because you're playing a game. It happens because you've shown that you value your time and energy and won't waste it chasing someone who doesn't value it. Section 3. Rediscovering your own value, the power of self-control. At this point, you might be wondering, so, should I always distance myself? And the answer is, it's not about pulling away for the sake of it, but about rediscovering your own value in the process. When you stop chasing someone who isn't giving you the attention you deserve, you start to realize something fundamental: the value you place on yourself is what defines how others will treat you. One of the biggest mistakes many men make is believing that, to be valued, they need to always be present, always available, always pleasing. But the truth is, the more you try to please, the less value you show. This happens because you send the message that you need her validation to feel good about yourself. By pulling away, you're not just changing the relationship dynamic. You're changing the way you see yourself. And this is the most important point of all: when you realize that your happiness, your value, and your self-esteem don't depend on anyone but yourself, you become truly powerful. And that self-confidence is what attracts people the most. It's at this point that you realize that distancing yourself isn't a tactic to get her to pay attention again, but an opportunity to reconnect with yourself. When you value your time, your energy, and your emotions, you begin to attract people who do the same. And what happens if she doesn't chase after you? Well, that's an answer too. If distancing yourself doesn't make her realize your value, then maybe she never truly valued who you are. And in that case, the best thing you can do is move on, knowing that you deserve someone who values you without you having to fight for it all the time. Are you tired of trying to win someone over only to end up being the nice guy who gets ignored? It's time to turn the tables. With the Foolproof Attraction Guide, you'll discover how to spark genuine interest, create real connections, and become the man women truly desire. No games, just practical techniques that work. Stop being left on the sidelines and start mastering the game of attraction. Click the link and get the Foolproof Attraction Guide now to transform your reality. Section 4. The Power of Indifference, how genuine disinterest increases your attraction. One of the biggest secrets in all emotional dynamics in relationships is the power of indifference. But, attention, we're not talking about pretending not to care or playing with her feelings. We're talking about a mindset where you genuinely put your well-being and happiness above the need for validation from someone else. True indifference comes when you realize that you don't need anyone to feel complete. When you stop chasing her, when you're no longer obsessed with what she thinks or does, you begin to act much more confidently. And confidence is irresistible. People are naturally attracted to those who have self-confidence, to those who know their worth and don't need external validation to feel good. By stopping showing so much interest, you start to create curiosity. She will wonder what has changed in you, what's different. And that curiosity leads to attraction. So, what really happens when she realizes you're no longer interested? She starts to see you differently. Genuine disinterest and the confidence that comes with it make her realize what she's about to lose. But more importantly, you rediscover the value you've always had, and now you won't waste it on someone who doesn't deserve it. If this content made sense to you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave your comment. Let's keep the conversation going. Have you been through a situation like this? Share your experience and help others understand the power of self-worth.